I'm Heather from booktubes, and today is my August reading wrap-up, and I'm filming this again because my alarm went off on my phone and it doesn't save the video if it interrupts the recording like that. So here we go again. I read 17 books in August. I DNF'd 4 of them, and so I'm going to talk about 13. This is easily the least that I've read the entire time that I've been doing booktube, and that was okay. I did not read half of the month, and I didn't feel like reading, and that was a welcome break because a lot of times, even if I am in a slump or I'm not reading, I still wish I was reading a good book. I'm just not finding the books I want to read, or I'm not finding what I'm in the mood for, and so it's annoying. But that was not the case. I was just happily not reading, and that was nice. Now I am back to reading currently, but yeah. Not as many books, and I'm happy about that. So as always, we're going to go in chronological order. If the books are available in Kindle Unlimited, that is marked in the description. All of the books are listed and linked in the description. And here we go. First book I read was Little Dove by Layla Frost. I gave this 5 stars because it is an all-time favorite. This was a reread for me. I won't say that this reread experience was necessarily 5 stars, but it was a comfort read and I was happy with it. This is problematic, age gap, daddy kink, captive captor, morally gray. It's a daddy dom, so he's like protective and likes to do everything that she wants to do, like buy her things and everything, but also he controls most aspects of her life, and this does start with him killing her father and taking her captive. And she is 17 at that time. She then lives in his household with his staff and stuff for a year. And when she turns 18, he makes it known that he is interested. So, and he's in his early 30s. So, I mean, bit odd, but he does wait till she's 18. It's problematic. I'm not trying to excuse it. He's very morally gray. He owns casinos. He runs underground fights, you know, all sorts of stuff. There's some violence on page, some romantic suspense elements like that, but it's a comfort read. And this is a really good one if you are interested in daddy kink but maybe don't know how interested you might be. It explains a lot of things about it. There's no age play or anything like that, and yeah, I would say it's a good beginner, and it's also very much that providing protective daddy dom. Then I read Sinful Redemption, which is Mafia Misfits #2 by Asia Monique. I gave this 4 stars. This is the like black spin-off of the different mafia organizations, and this is a main character who is a doctor. She's the niece of the head of the Russian mafia, and her love interest is Luca. Yeah, Luca, who's the twin brother of the main character in the first book. And their relationship was lovely. I loved reading about them. And the doctor's little brother is like 17, and his protectiveness and loyalty to his sister I loved. I really liked seeing him on page. Their relationship was great. There's definitely a lot of editing that's needed in these books, but I really enjoy the storyline and the characters, so if that's something that you can overcome, it is a really good story. Then I read Sweat and Soap, which is volume 5 of that manga series. I gave this 5 stars. This is a main character who sweats a lot, and the soap maker, they work at the same company, who's obsessed with the way that she smells. It's interesting for me because I have always had sweat issues, especially when it comes to stress, which is not like the same thing as being smelly. It's just like damp. I feel like they're different issues, and she seems to be like very worried about the way that she smells, and that's not really a thing that I worry about, but like my hands will get sweaty right away if I'm nervous and things like that. This one, cute, holidays, they're meeting each other's families, they're apartment hunting. I really like watching the progress of their relationship. I wish they had some more confidence. They are growing in confidence, but it's still not the greatest. It's still struggle. Okay, if anything changed, I had to go call my husband's phone so he could find it. So this is cursed, apparently. Yeah, Sweat and Soap, it's cute. Then I read Something's Wrong with Us volume 1. I gave this 5 stars. This is a manga, and it is perfect for romantic thriller, romantic suspense, dark romance, those types of readers. So basically he said that her mom killed his dad or whatever. She was a child and her mom's been in prison and died and all sorts of things. I think she died. So she wants revenge on him. They're bakers of this confection, and it's very gripping. I was stressed out, cannot lie, but I was also like compelled to read from beginning to end. So I haven't picked up the next volume yet because stress, but like once you pick it up, you're reading the whole thing. I've heard that there's a lot of twists, a lot of cliffhangers and things like that, and it definitely did end on an interesting cliffhanger, and I'm just very interested to see what they're going to do. Then I read Immortal and Death, which is In Death number 3 by J.D. Robb. I gave this 4 stars. J.D. Robb is the In Death pen name for Nora Roberts, and this is a futuristic police detective falls in love with a billionaire, and it's a good balance of mystery and romance. And there are some heavy content warnings for child abuse, incest, rape, child sexual assault. Eve is getting her memories back about some things that happened to her. Her husband now, Rourke, also suffered a lot of child abuse, so they have a lot of trauma in their past, both of them, and that's part of why they understand each other so well. It's like a 60-book series, and I read the first 2 books before starting my booktube channel and jumped in on this 3rd one without any trouble. So this one was they're getting married, and there's models that have been killed, and there's like high society reality fashion stars that are all suspects. Then I read Ruthless Demon King, which is Wrath and Ruin number 1 by Nikki St. Crowe. I gave this 3 stars. This is the author of The Never King. This character was dumb. She was dumb. It was infuriating, inconsistent, ragey. I shouldn't be attracted to you. I believe any and everything I'm told by any and everybody. That was our main character. You have a demon, he's in America, nobody can kill him, he's the Demon King, and for some reason it seems she has powers and he can't kill her. So it wasn't good. I gave it 3 stars because I was interested and I did pick up the 2nd book, which I DNF'd. So I personally think the Never King series is better. Then I read Erins Patience, which is Townsend number 2 by Tiffany Peterson. I gave this 4 stars. This is the best alpha-hole, jealous, possessive romance that I've read in a minute. I really liked it. It's second chance, secret baby, and he forces her to marry him or lose custody of her children, which is actually their children that he never heard about, right? And there's a lot of anger and a lot of hurt on both sides. He's very controlling. He didn't do anything where I like absolutely wanted to stab him, but he did do things where she was so mad and I was like, yes, go get him, lay into him. So I liked the level that they were at. There is a stalker, and so there are some elements with that. So Second Chance, interracial, written by a Black author. Really, really enjoyed it. Will definitely read more of her work. Then I read The Investigator, which is Norcross Security number 1 by Anna Hackett. I gave this 3 stars. This is completely because stuff at Novelty Corner told me that it was like the professional series by Jessica Gaziella, and she is right for sure. This was very popcorn romantic suspense. So if you want a romantic suspense where you're not really that worried about the characters, yeah, there's a lot of kidnappings and shootings and things going on, but you're just not worried about them, this is a good one for that. So she works at an art museum, and Monet's Water Lilies painting gets stolen. I thought it was cool because I actually know what that painting was. So I was like, oh, I know this. She does get beaten by the thieves. So that's the worst thing that happens to her on page, just so you know. And she does have a past abusive boyfriend. So know that as well. This is by an Australian author, and she gets kidnapped like every chapter. I swear to God, it was wild. So I was like very much rolling my eyes, but also having a good time, enjoying my read, and like liking the soapiness of it. Well, I will say it had that trope, which really annoys me, where you have one character who is an expert and they ignore all of their expertise and just go along with whatever the other character wanted. So she was doing all sorts of stuff that she should not have been doing because the completely professional investigator ex-special forces dude was just letting her do whatever she wanted. I was like, but why? Why are we doing this? Not a great time, but a good time. I would read more. Then, highlight. I read Paladins Grace, which is the Saint of Steel #1 by T. Kingfisher. I gave this 5 stars. This was an absolute delight. Now, I have been giving credit to Angela at Literature Science Alliance for putting this on my TBR. Like, I know I got this from her. So I messaged her and I'm like, hey, I read it. I loved it. It was amazing. It was great. And she was like, oh, that's awesome. I've never read that book. And I'm just like, I have no idea why this book is on my TBR, because I could swear to you it was because she said she loved it. I don't know. I have no idea, but I've been seeing this all over on the fantasy booktubers that I follow, and so many people have been loving both this and Nettle and Bone, and I'm actually currently reading the second book, and it's just as amazing. This was just so delightful. Like, I didn't really know what to expect. I just remembered that when I heard about it, I was like, oh, that sounds like I would love it, but I couldn't remember why or what. This is, I recommend going in pretty blind, right? Like, you have a paladin, which is like a holy knight, and he was sworn to a god, and his god dies. Now it's 3 years later, and he and the other surviving knights are just trying to do the best they can as broken men, right? And there's kind of some murder mystery stuff going on, and this was very interesting because it has a lot of dark themes. There's like people being beheaded and all sorts of stuff, right? But it felt so light and funny, but in like a quiet way. I love this. And their meet cute, I was dying of laughter. I was having the best time. I was so amused. Just really funny writing, really great characters. They're older characters. Like, she's like 28 and she's significantly younger than he is. And in the second book, she's 36 and he's 40. Like, awesome characters who just, I don't know, everything about this was so good. Like, this is hands down a new favorite author for me. Truly so amazing. If you're gonna read something and you like fantasy at all, read this. And there was a lot more romance than I was anticipating. Like, I didn't think that there would be, but there was, and it was great. Then I read Yakuza Lover Volume 2. I gave this 3 stars. This is Yakuza, which is the Japanese mafia. And this is so mad to me. I don't know why I'm struggling to get into this manga, but he's a mafia leader and there's like insta love with her. Well, in this one, a rival bad guy takes her, and it was just the most dramatic thing I've ever seen for like no reason. Like, none of it made any sense. I did not know what was going on or why we were doing what we were doing, but it was kind of dumb. Can't lie to you. Also, the sex scenes are kind of blurred out, like they're there, but you don't see any explicit details, so know that, I guess, if you're interested. Then I read 2 Scoops of Hellfire by Kimberly Lemming. I gave this 3 stars. This is like a 40, 25 page, something like that, novella. And it's an erotic novella, and it's about lockdown, and she accidentally summons a demon with her terrible baking. Here's the problem. It's an erotica, right? And I had 2 big takeaways, and they weren't good. First one is she talks about how COVID started because someone ate a bat, and I just feel like you should not be saying that it is xenophobic and plays into racist stereotypes against Asian people and has perpetuated a lot of the crime we have seen, the hate crime we have seen against Asians because of the coronavirus, and I just didn't like it. So as soon as I read this line, I was turned off in a major way. I was not having a good time after that. I just really felt like it was unnecessary and not good. So just know that I did have an issue with it. The other major takeaway, not as important, but she bakes cupcakes and immediately frosts them. And I don't know if you know the first thing about baking, but you cannot frost a cake right after you take it out of the oven. It literally takes hours of cooling it. And they were just like eating these yummy cupcakes. I'm like, that's not how it works. That's not how you make cupcakes. And I was so annoyed. It's one of those things, right, where if you know how it's supposed to be, then the inconsistencies really bug you. But this was just such a, like, I don't know. I just view it as common knowledge. I was like, but that's not how you do it. That's wrong. So that annoyed me. So my 2 takeaways were, stereotype rumors about Asians, and that's not how you bake. And it was supposed to be a fun demon erotica, so it was a miss for me. It's not that I didn't enjoy the sex scenes, but like I couldn't tell you what happened with the rest of it. Then I read Secrets of a Summer Night, which is Wallflowers #1 by Lisa Kleypas. This is my first Lisa Kleypas, and I gave it 5 stars. This was great. I had a wonderful time with this. She is a beautiful but broke noble lady, and he is an extremely wealthy commoner who made his money through the Industrial Revolution. And she is at the point where she's done. She only has a few weeks to get a husband, or she's going to have to accept someone's offer to be their mistress. And she doesn't want to. She wants to be allowed into polite society. She doesn't want to become a mistress, but also she can't keep her brother in school. Her mother is having to have kind of non-consensual sex with someone for money. And it's not a good situation, and like nobody's going to offer to marry her. So she's trying to trap this other guy into a marriage, and our hero is just like, oh no, I'm gonna win you. And she likes everything about him, except it's also enemies to lovers, and she really just, like, he doesn't want a marriage and she doesn't want to be a mistress. I loved that they got married at like the 70% mark and continued to fall in love after being married. I love that. I was really happy with that. So the setup for this is that they're the Wallflowers. They're like 4 Wallflowers, and they decide to become friends, and they make a pact to help each other find their husbands, and they're so funny and cute, and they were having such a great friendship. I really enjoyed that, and I'm looking forward to reading the next one. I will say, content warning for hot metal fiery scene at like the railroad thingamabobber. I forget the word I want. I personally am like so afraid of burning and like hot metal and things like that, and I was okay during that scene. So just know that it's present, but it was not overwhelming for me, and I very much have an issue with that. So take that for what you will. And lastly, I reread Quiet Man, which is Dream Team 0.5, and Dream Man 4.5 by Kristen Ashley. This is 5-star. This is the tall, ugly, built like a house bodyguard and the like extremely famous stripper who has fake boobs and is proud of that, is proud of stripping, loves what she does, makes so much money with it, loves everything about it, right? And she actually does get a breast, like she goes natural with her breasts during the story because she wants to have kids and she's ready for a change, and she's like, look, I can still make money with smaller boobs. And I really liked it because she is so positive about being a stripper, and some of her friends are only doing it for the money. Like, they don't really want to be doing it, but for her, it is her chosen career and she loves it. And I really enjoyed their dynamic. Now, he is her live-in bodyguard because of a stalker who's sending increasingly violent letters and is going to hurt her. Now, nothing happens to her, so like he never gets his hands on her, but do know that that's present. So I love them. I love that he's quiet. I love that he's ugly. I love everything about it and how much she loves him. And she's just like, no, you're gonna be mine. Sorry. And yeah, it sets up the series where she puts all their friends together, and it's great. Then I reread and DNF'd. Like, I just didn't feel like reading the last little bit of the book. Dream Team, which is, I think it's Dream Team, Dreamkeeper, I don't know, Dreammaker, whatever the first book is, the book after this for the spin-off series, and was really enjoying it, but ultimately did DNF it. Like, I've already read it. I was just reading it for fun and didn't feel like finishing it, because again, I was not reading. Then I had to try to read Ruby Fever. Did not really succeed with that. We postponed it. Everything's good. I'll still have to read it, but it'll be okay. So yeah, That's all I've got for you. That's my August reading. Again, like, didn't read half the month, and I'm perfectly happy with that. So there you go. I did absolutely love Paladins Grace and Secrets of a Summer Night. Those were easily my favorite things that I read. And yeah, just had a great time with them. So if you want to pick something up, pick those up. Or if you want Jealous and Possessive, pick up Erins Patience, because it was great too. So there you go. That's my recommendation. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.